Hello, world. Patricia O'Connor and Frida Reba Dorsey here, coming up behind me as we speak. And today on the Bonsai Balcony, I'm starting a little bit late. I thought we would go with some late afternoon light and see if it got any better. It did not. It is pretty smoky out. That's not traffic. I think we've got some more uh, fires to deal with. And the last couple of days, it has been very smoky. I've been coughing a lot, more than usual, and just been. And I hope this doesn't have an effect um, on the trees too much, uh, or on the people or anything else. But I know better. So that's kind of what things are looking like here. Also, we're starting to see a lot of fall colors. On everything. Everything's starting to take its kind of fall look. Our trident maple is starting to put out some really pretty colors, and my bald cypress is starting to make that shift. More and more, the rust is starting to take over the branches, and we're already starting to lose some in our foliage down here, starting to look a little fall-like. Also, it's taken me a minute to try to figure out, and this isn't the first year my cork bark has done this, but I actually think that my cork bark oak probably makes a little bit of some sort of change in fall, and then the fall light is too much for it. I think of it as a sun-hungry tree. I mean, these things grow in the islands and stuff around Spain, right? So, but at the same time, it's this time of year every year, and it's also more on whatever side is facing the outside. What dieback I have here was as a result of the tree facing the other way before I just brought it back in for a few days and let it recover. And now that I've taken it back out, it's done. It's not as bad as it was. I've gotten a handle on the part of it that was powdery mildew, but it may not be a powdery mildew issue totally. It's probably the time of year that the tree exchanges its leaves naturally, and while those leaves are sitting there dead, waiting for the wind or whatever to take them off, they naturally get powdery mildew, which then spreads over the new growth that is also coming out to replace the stuff. So, but at the same time, I think it's always the outside, which I guess maybe that makes sense with the wind or whatever. But it could also be that that this time of year the light isn't particularly good, or they're getting burned or something. Um, but what I am glad to see, if I'm showing you here, even the branches, most of the branches that were laid bare by this seem to be snapping back. So that's good to see. Yeah, that's good to see everywhere. Uh, these are the guys. Whoop! I'm going to go back to shrink the screen again if I can, right quick. There we go. These are the guys. Now we've got an exposure problem because we're lit late in the afternoon and the lights are blowing out the iris of the camera. These are the guys that we brought in last night and worked on, and I'm glad we did that. I think that's going to be, that's going to be pretty cool. This is our ponderosas. They seem to be responding well to their new placement. I'm looking at this screen and it just, maybe I should kill the lights, and well, that would just throw us in darkness for a second. They're both responding really well to their new placement. Our little seedlings are doing really well, but I'm trying to still figure out why I keep having these problems with the leaves on this cork bark oak. And this is something that I've gone through every year, and it does seem to be kind of like I was saying earlier. It seems to be sort of centered around you see a certain amount of powdery mildew, and I treat that. It It could also be that the pot has got the roots confined so that we're having a water transfer problem, especially when it gets warm, especially on the side that faces the outside, that where the leaves would transpire more. Maybe that's it. But I do have to worry about, and I do. I'm worried about that hindering the progress of this tree, and I'm worried about losing some of the little secondary that we have going. Some of it's budding out again, and I hope we get to keep it. Uh, it doesn't. Also, it doesn't all look like it's budding out again, but a lot of it seems to be flushing back out. So we're upping our fertilizer. I mean, we're not increasing our fertilizer, but we're making sure we stay current with our biogold and just kind of continuing that as we had been. Um, that's kind of what's got us. This is the time of year where it's really easy to get out of balance on your water. On one hand, um, sometimes like where I am here, the air is drier in fall. So even on a cooler day, if the wind changes direction, we can get that drier air will warm up quickly as the wind changes from off of our coast to from the desert side. And we could have temperatures more likely to shoot up really high in the fall than then in the spring, whenever everything is better acclimated, or in the summer when everything already knows it's going to be hot. But as it is in the fall, sometimes you're sitting there going 70, 70, 68, 70, 74, boom, 90. And that wreaks havoc on things that had already started leaning their hormonal exchange and everything. It's like the same temperature that will not hurt a tree in July will totally uh, wreak havoc on it in October, because it was already set up. It was already setting itself up totally different. Its tolerances are starting to go a totally different way by that point, and that's kind of what you have to think about here. The trees, even on the warmer days, will not always take in water at the same rate that so you're thinking, well, today was hot, yesterday, it's been cold or it's been cool, and so you check and look, and maybe you haven't, because the tree didn't really pick up on that one day. So it's easy to do everything. It's easy to get off one way or another. This is the third time I've checked this tree, and it just now looks like it needs water. And but I'm gonna see what happens if I kill the light. Boom! I think that in a minute that'll settle it, I think. But here's the thing. It's just now. I've checked it all day. Earlier today, it didn't look like it needed water. Middle of the day, still no. Now the substrate just now looks like it's kind of ready. But if I water it, I would water it the way I always water my trees, and that would mean that I would water it all the way through until I see it come out of the bottom. And just before sundown might not be the best time. Might not be the best time to do that. So, knowing that I saw it had water, it had a good bit of moisture in the pot still this morning, and then knowing at noon or 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock, whenever it was that I looked, again, it was still moist enough that I didn't feel good about watering it. I'll probably wait until tomorrow morning, and then it'll get a good water. So this has been hard for me to gauge. Everything I heard about it was I had to just really stop and take into account the information that I got and where that information was gathered and try to equate that. So yeah, it takes It takes a lot less water. It finally got watered today. Probably first time in 4 days. Yeah, probably the first time in 4 days. The color's really good. I'm starting to see where some of the needle damage that I did, shaping the tree, bending all these branches around. I can see little places where the tips got bent over and they turned brown. But everything, I think I dispersed most of the stuff on this tree in a way that, unless it was already trying to cast it off, most of this stuff probably is positioned better to get light, especially under my lights and with the sun that we have coming in from, this is a south-facing balcony after all. So everything should be, oh, and I brought this branch back more. It's been kind of my objective to try to work stuff. This is more the back of the tree, I believe. It's not written in stone, but that's more my idea. And then the idea also is not to just have everything thrown directly out of the front of the tree like a shotgun blast coming right at you. And by doing that, by bringing that around, that does give the tree more depth. And right now, at best, we had almost everything combed dead in front of our face being the trunk and the main feature of the tree. So bringing that around a little bit more, just a little tweak, better expose these tips to their own light and lessen the shadow of the other stuff. And at the same time gives us a better sense of balance for having more stuff back there in the back, and then gives the tree more depth. And then takes at least, whereas that stuff was here and then frayed out there, it's just less directly in front of our view. It's after you look at stuff, you see stuff. I now see this, like in a way that I never saw it before. I don't know. One of those have to go? No, probably not. One of those have to go up, one of those have to go down? I don't know. One of those have to go down more? I don't know, but those two run in parallel like that. I actually found myself doing that, going, does one of these go? Is it the big one? Is it the little one? And I'm not about to do anything rash. But it's taken me till now, with even the stuff that we've done, to just really notice that those two branches are both kind of doing a little tandem thing that's, no, it shouldn't probably, that probably shouldn't fly. Okay, everybody else seems to be doing really good. We're not having a hard time keeping up with our watering with these guys. Now, see, the thing with the maples and stuff, they'll tell you quickly when they're going dry. Same with the cypress. The leaves will drop. But some of the pines are finicky, and then some of the ponderosas don't take in water as fast as you think they would, because their leaves don't expel moisture the same way the other pines do. They're kind of like lock that stuff away. So yeah, I will probably bring this back in this afternoon and make sure that I don't see any more PM. The main thing about doing that is it's fairly heavy, and I don't really need to be, I probably do need to be moving stuff around, but I want to make sure I'm warmed up before I go snatch and grab that thing. But I'll probably put it back in on this little antique white table here and see how we're doing on the powdery mildew side, and just make sure that there's not more dieback going on that guy that I haven't been able to see. Otherwise, our coastal oak is just the opposite story. It's it's looking really good. It's still flushing out new growth, and I'm letting all of its stuff just extend right on out. And we're pretty much keeping the plan we made. We're pretty much keeping the plan we made with this tree. Uh, this year, there's a. See if I can get in there and give a little look. That's our hollow feature. Okay, so it won't be long now until this tree sheds its stuff, probably in October, and then we start our work. I've been seeing some posts lately where people have done the work on their cypress trees. Some of them have used chainsaws, and some of them have used grinders. And the idea is you kind of start here and then turn this line into taper down here. And I've seen people just go with a chainsaw, and I've seen people take and kind of do that same thing with a grinder. Go way down here, and then that would probably mean hollow some of this out too. That will be exciting. Yeah, I've got a little bit more time, and I hopefully will use it well to do good research and try to. It's not enough to see what other people have done. It would also be great to see what other people have done before and see what the results were. So, yeah. So yeah, that's a quick catch up on what fall has done. We've had to watch our watering some. Stuff takes in water a little slower, but then you are capable of being caught out by some temperatures that'll zap up really quickly because maybe the air is drier, it has less moisture in it, and if you have a change in wind direction, you can get a change of temperature with that. If that air that's blowing through your way came from a hotter place, then yeah. And that can catch your trees, which will be more susceptible to that when, while they were just sitting back coasting and all that 70-degree stuff. Whenever this guy changes colors, we'll bring it in and we're going to do a cleanup on the base and we'll do a prune on the top. But the thing about maples is they produce a lot of sap, and it's kind of a big no to do pruning on those when every one of those would be a faucet right now. It would just, a lot of the energy that the tree is making will just go pouring right out of that. Some of y'all have noticed I have this sheet of plywood. I would like to apply that sheet of plywood sitting on my shelf, not on the landlord's rail, but elevate it and put it right there so that I could put that maple this way. And maybe tomorrow would be a good day for that. In fact, I think that might be a very worthwhile project. Offside to that is everything gets the same kind of coverage. It's not one-sided and facing a wall. Turning the tree 180 degrees to give the other side the same advantages of light that side has now is not really going to work, because just the way that slant-shaped tree is, would work, it would be pointed at us a little awkward. So that would well and truly get us out of that. Yeah, that's kind of what I have planned there. All right. Like and subscribe if you guys haven't already. Looking forward to this big project coming up. Looking forward to that little project coming up. And then we'll just wait and see how everything else. These guys are going to be beautiful here in a minute when those colors start just turning that rusty red color. Like, think that color you see there times the whole tree. Thank you so much for watching.